Hello everyone, this is 9.5's post test, which is working with perimeter, circumference, and area. A lot of these are word problems where we have to set up an equation and solve for missing length, width, radius, diameter, things like that. So let's get started. This first question says, given the perimeter of a square, find the length of one side using the appropriate formula, and we're given the perimeter. So we're talking about a square here. So drawing it out real quick, a square has all same side measurements. So I'm just going to call them x for now. And I'm given the perimeter is 136 feet. To find the perimeter of the square, we're just adding up all four sides. So this is going to create an equation where my perimeter is equal to all four sides added together. So x plus x plus x plus x plus x needs to be 4. X plus x plus x plus x, four sides of the square, equals the perimeter. Simplifying this equation, x plus x plus x plus x is 4x. And to solve for that length measurement, I'm dividing by 4 on both sides. So 136 divided by 4, and I get 34 equals x. So 34 is that length measurement of that square. Okay, this next question, given the perimeter of a rectangle and either the length or width, find the unknown measurement using the appropriate formula. We have a 1 foot wide rectangular table with a perimeter of 16 feet. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I know it's 1 foot wide. So here's the width. This is 1 foot. But if this is 1 foot, this is also 1 foot. And I do not know what the length is. So I'm going to call that x and this x. Oops. And they are the same length. So they're both x. I also know my perimeter here is 16 feet. Okay, that's given to me. So to find our missing length here, we're going to set up an equation where the perimeter, again, just like the square, the perimeter is the distance around, so I'm adding up all the sides. So I have x plus 1 plus x plus 1. Adding up my four sides. To simplify this equation a little bit, we have x plus x, which is 2x, and we have 1 plus 1, which is 2. So I have 16 equals 2x plus 2. And I want to solve this for x, which is my missing length. So to solve, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. 14 is equal to 2x. And then divide by 2. So I get 7 is equal to x, which is my missing length. Okay. A certain field is a rectangle with a perimeter of 938 feet. The length is 191 feet more than the width. Find the width and length of the rectangular field. So we're talking about a rectangle again. So here's my rectangle. And I know something about the length. It says the length is 191 feet more than the width. So that means the length is the width with 191 feet more. So it creates this equation for the length. It's the width plus 191. Okay, 191 feet more than the width. And the width doesn't say anything about the width, so I'm just going to call the width W. So now I'm going to label my rectangle with my new length and my width. So instead of calling this the length, I'm going to call it W plus 191. Okay, the width is just W, and I know this is also a length, and this is also a width. So I have my rectangle labeled now, And the benefit of doing it this way is now my rectangle is labeled only in terms of the width, only in terms of W. It's all W's here. So now I can create an equation in terms of W so I can solve for W. Okay, the other piece of information I need is I need to know what my total perimeter is, which is given to me here as 938 feet. So I'm going to create an equation. 938, which is my perimeter, equals all four lengths added together. So I have W plus 191, that's this length, plus W, this width, plus W plus 191, that's this length, plus W, that's this width. So these are all four sides added together. And now I can solve this equation for W. So I have 938 equals, now I'm going to combine like terms. I have W plus W plus W plus W. It's 4W. Then I have 191 plus another 191. 191 plus 191 is 382, positive 382, so I'm adding it. And now I need to continue solving for W. So I'm going to subtract this 382 on both sides. 938 minus 382. It's 556 equals 4W. And then to continue solving for W, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So 556 divided by 4 is 139. That is my W, or my width. So typing that in the box here, 139 is my width. But it's still asking for the length. So if I come back up here, I know my width is now 139. But I need to find my length. But I created this equation, it was one of my first steps. I know what my W is now. So I'm just going to substitute that W in here and add this 191 to find what the length is. In other words, my length is going to be 139, which was my width, plus this 191. So 139 is already here, plus 191, and my length is going to be 330 feet. Okay, next question. We have the area of a parallelogram is 20 square feet and the height is 4 feet. Find the length of the corresponding base. So we're talking about a parallelogram now. Okay, and I know that the height, okay, this would be the height of a parallelogram is 4, and the area is 20 square feet, and it's trying to find the base. So here's my base. Okay, I'm going to call it x. The area of a parallelogram is just base times height. So substituting in my information, my area is 20 square feet equals my base, which is x, my height is 4, which creates 4x, and I just need to solve this for x, which is my base. So to solve this, I'm dividing by 4 on both sides, and I get x equals 5, so my length of my base will be 5 feet. Okay, this word problem here. We have a farmer creating a crop circle that is a square inside of a circle. The square contains the crop of wheat, and the part outside the circle is flat. Excuse me, the part outside the square is flat, so this little gray bits are the flat areas. The circle has a radius of 18 meters, and the square has a side length of 25 meters. what is the area of the flat region within this crop circle? So the flat part is this gray region, and that I want to find the area of. So we did this, a similar problem like this on 9.4's post-test. I need to first find the area of the total figure, which in this case will be the circle, and then I have to take away or subtract the area of the square. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is find the area of the circle. Area formula of a circle is pi r squared, and it does want us to use 3.14. Okay, again, this is the area of the circle. So the area will be 3.14 times my radius squared. My radius here is 18. Squaring it is multiplying it by itself. So I'm multiplying by 18 times 18. So I have 3.14 times 18 times 18. And taking a peek over here, it does say round to the nearest tenth, but I'm not going to do that until the very end. So I'm writing this decimal as is. I'm not rounding it. So I get 1017.36. That is my area of the total circle. But now I need to find the area of the square. Okay, to find the area of a square, it's just length squared. Okay, it's one length times itself. It's basically length times width, but the length and width of a square are the same. In this case, it's 25 meters. So it's 25 squared, which is 25 times itself. 25 times 25 is 625. So I have my area of my circle. I have my area of my square. I need to find the area of this gray region. So I'm going to take away the area of the square from the area of the total circle. So I'm going to subtract this area by the area of my square. So I'm taking the area of my circle, which is 1017.36, subtracting the area of my square. And again, I did not round. Get 392.36. At this point, that's our answer, but now we're going to see how it wants it rounded. It says round to the nearest tenth. Tenth is the first decimal place after the decimal point, which is my 3. So I'm really looking at my 6, which is 5 or greater, so that 3 is going to round up. So this would be 392.4 square meters. Okay. Next. Use the area of the rectangle in either its length or width and the appropriate formula. Find the other measurement. So we're talking about a rectangle again. The area of a tabletop is 35 square feet and the width is 5 feet. So we have a rectangle. I know that my width is 5. So this and this are 5. I do not know my length, so I'm going to call them x. And I know my area is 35 square feet. Well, area of a rectangle is just length times width. So substituting here, my area for 35. My length I don't know is x. My width is 5. So this creates an equation or expression 5x. So I have the equation 35 equals 5x. And I'm going to solve for x, which is in this case is my length. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides, and I get 7 is equal to x. So my length here will be 7 feet. Okay, next question. If a circle has a circumference of 6 pi centimeters, what is its area? And we want to leave in terms of pi. So we're starting with the circumference and we have to get to the area. So if I look at the circumference formula, which is 2 pi r, and I look at the area formula of a circle, which is pi r squared, they have a couple things in common. One of them, they both have pi, which I'm going to leave because it says leaves in terms of pi, but they both also have the r, which is the radius. So the only way I'm going to be able to find the area is if I first find the radius of this circle. To do that, I'm going to use what I know about the circumference. I know that my circumference is 6 pi. So I create this equation, 6 pi equals 2 pi r. And I can now solve this for r. So to do that, this is all multiplication, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. Here on the right, the 2 and the pi cancel each other out. I'm left with my r. Here, the pi's cancel each other out, so I have 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So I get my radius, which is going to be 3 centimeters. So now if I go back to here, I know what my radius is now, so I can find what the area is. So it's going to be pi times my radius, which is 3, squared. So 3 times itself. So my area here, 3 times 3 is 9, so this will be 9 pi square centimeters. Okay, it does say leave in terms of pi, so I'm actually typing pi in my answer. The pi symbol is down here once you're in the box. So 9 pi. Okay, this question, we have a coin and the circumference is 7.52 centimeters. What is the diameter? Okay, and this time we're going to use 3.14 for pi. So for this one, we're talking about the circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r. However, it's asking for the diameter. We want to know the diameter. Okay, I don't necessarily need the radius in this case, because in this circumference formula, 2r, double the radius, is the diameter. So I'm going to tweak this formula a little bit. Instead of 2 pi r, I'm just going to call this the diameter times pi, because 2r is the diameter. Okay, and I want to be able to know what the diameter is. So now that I have this circumference equation, I'm just going to substitute what I know. I know my circumference is 7.52. I don't know my diameter, but I do know that pi wants me to use 3.14. So it creates this equation, and I want to find the diameter. So to solve this, I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. And that will give me the diameter. So 7.52 divided by 3.14. I get this long decimal, 2.3949 dot dot dot, and that's equal to my diameter, which is what it wants, but it wants us to round to the nearest tenth. So this 3 is in my tenths place, but I'm really looking at the 9, so this is going to round up to 2.4 centimeters. Okay, next one, we have a triangle that has a base of 6 feet and an area of 18 square feet, and we want to find the triangle's height. Okay, to make this as easy as possible, I'm going to make a right triangle, just easier to find what the base and what the height is. I know that my base is 6, and I want to find the height, which is here. I'm going to call that x, and I know what my area is. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So substituting in what I know that my area is 18. I know that my base is 6. My height is x divided by 2. And now I need to solve this for x, which is going to be my height of my triangle. So to solve this equation for x, the first thing I need to do is get rid of this dividing by 2 here. To undo a division of 2, we're going to do its inverse operation, which is multiplying by 2. But if we multiply by 2 on the right side of the equal sign, we have to multiply by 2 on the left to keep the equation balanced. So I have 2 times 18 here, which is 36, equals 6x. Here the 2 and the 2 will cancel each other out. So I have 36 equals 6x. I'm going to divide by 6 on both sides and get 6 is equal to x. So my height here is 6 feet. Okay, this next one, I have a circle again. It's given me the circumference, and it wants me to use 3.14 and find x. X is a part of my radius here. So my circumference formula is 2 pi r. It wants me to use 3.14 for pi, and I know my circumference, so substituting everything in, instead of circumference, I know my circumference is 69.08 equals 2 times pi, in this case is 3.14, times my radius. My radius is this expression, x plus 7 is my full radius. So the goal here is to get what x is. Okay, that's what it wants. It wants x. But I have to simplify this equation a little bit to be able to help solve it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 2 times 3.14. Okay, 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. So I have this 69.08 equals 6.28 times this x plus 7, which is my radius. Okay, again, the goal is to get this x, but now I have the 6.28 in front. Okay, this implies we're going to distribute. So I'm going to distribute this 6.28 to these two terms, this x and this positive 7. Okay, distributing here is going to be multiplying. So I'm just rewriting my circumference. And so now I have 6.28 times x, which is 6.28x. And then I have 6.28 times positive 7. So 6.28 times 7, and that is a positive 43.96. Okay, again, I'm not rounding. I need these exact decimals. Now I have this equation, and here's the x. So to be able to solve this for x, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract this 43.96 on both sides. So I have 69.08 minus, I'm being very careful in typing this in correctly, minus 43.96. 69.08 minus 43.96, and that is 25.12 equals 6.28x. Okay, and now I need to solve for x. So to be able to solve for x now, we're going to divide both sides by 6.28. Okay, I'm dividing both sides by 6.28, so I have 25.12 divided by 6.28, and that is 4. So x here will be 4. Okay, last question. We have this shape here, and I'm given the perimeter is 46 centimeters, and I want to find the length of the unlabeled side, which is this side here. Okay, but it looks like I have all the other sides. of this pentagon. So to find the perimeter, we are just adding up all the sides. Okay, perimeter is distance around. I know my perimeter at the end is 46, so I have 46 equals all the sides added up together. So I have 4 plus 4 plus 12 plus a side I don't know, which I'm going to call x, plus 10. Making sure I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sides. And now I just need to solve this equation for x. So I'm going to add up my like terms here. I have 4 plus 4 plus 12 plus 10. 4 plus 4 plus 12 plus 10. That is 30. Plus x equals this 46. Again, I need to solve this for x, so I'm going to subtract 30 on both sides, and I get x as 16. And that is that missing side. So that should be the last question. Okay, and that takes care of 9.5. So again, if you've been following along, please just email me if you have any questions. And next week we will move on to 9.6.